ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share a few thoughts on quite a daunting subject. Frankly, when I was talking about what the contours of this session should be, and we were discussing, we zeroed in on failure, and that has always been a very powerful impulse that I've thought about, engaged with, been scared of, as I guess all of us, all of you have been. But actually, once you look back at your life, and I think so many of you are so young, you have a long life ahead of you, unlike me, who's got plenty to look back at and assess and reassess what I did right, wrong, you realize the role that failure has actually played in some of the best decisions one may have taken, some of the worst decisions one may have taken. You know, in a sort of twisted analogy, if you go by those famous words of Shakespeare, who said that life is what sort of the occasional episode of happiness in a sea of sorrow, I, based on my own experiences, do believe that a professional life, a professional career, is actually quite a bit like the occasional episode of success in, if not a sea of failure, certainly several rounds of failure. Because if we look back at the milestones in life, one will realize that there was so much that one tried to do in which one wasn't successful, while success was something that was the occasional occurrence in life. So about 5 years ago, I had to end my, the bulk of my life, working life, was taken up with founding Network 18. When I graduated after my MBA, I worked for a short while in the corporate sector, about 4 or 5 years. And then, as often happens, the wanderlust sort of bites you, and you say, I really want to do something that, organically, innately turns me on, and therefore, like all big decisions of life, they're a bit of an accident, they're a bit fortuitous, you happen to be at the right place at the right time. So, in the early 90s, when satellite television started in India, and suddenly from a country which had just one state player, and there was not even the remotest chance of having private television, suddenly, because of technology, because of the fact that the Indian government didn't have any regulations to farm and harness that technology, through sort of a very wild process of duplication, private television happened in India. It happened in a matter of months, literally. And I realized at that point in time that this is the time to jump in and follow your passion. I always was very excited about creating content for television, and one saw the opportunity, and one knew that a country like India, which is so, I mean, we have centuries of tradition of creating our own content. So I was quite, and so many languages. I was quite sure that this country would not have imported its content for too long. This country had to create its own content, and therefore there had to be a very powerful and large indigenous local television industry, and that was the genesis of my jumping in. That's, as I said, I spent 25 years building Network 18 from pretty much scratch, because the only capital that I borrowed in the early 90s was about 50,000 rupees from my father. My father was, pretty regular IAS officer, so these guys never had too much money, especially in those days. Their sort of quotient of honesty was higher. But 50,000 he was able to spare, and that's the only sort of infusion of capital that I did into the business, because from there on, every infusion of capital was leveraged on the value that one had created on the earlier capital. So it was one continuous infusion of leverage from myself and of course external investors. So I spent 25 years of my life doing that. But ironically, 2014, when for a variety of reasons I had to exit the company that I had built, I was left with a very nagging question. And you know, when you exit a company, and I'm sure there'll be some people who've experienced that or similar sort of circumstances. One day, you are running the lives of 10,000 people. You're running 35 television channels. You're running 10 portals, extremely successful brands, Colors, CNBC TV 18, CNN IPM, moneycontrol.com. You're doing all of that. And then next morning, you've got nothing to do. There is nowhere to go because you've given it all away. And obviously, you have a lot of time to think at that point in time. So the one nagging question for me at that stage was, did I succeed or did I fail? And this is not a rhetorical question. This was a real nagging, clawing question. Some of my friends in the US, some of them MBA buddies, some of them from college, who've gone on to work in multinational corporations, who've gone on to become country heads. I started getting emails, especially from the guys in America, because I think in America, it's a pretty dumb thing that you spend your life, you create something, and then you walk out, and you make an exit. So I remember getting a few mails from some of these guys saying, hey, congratulations, you had $1 billion exit. And that sort of muddied it further for me. Yes, I had a valuation deal. I didn't have $1 billion, I had a minority stake. $1 billion valuation exit, but did I really succeed? And I tell you or did I fail? And I tell you the genesis of this question. Because if you looked at it quantitatively, if you looked at it materially, there was a lot of success. As I just told you, 35 TV channels, big brands, some of them really break through. Colors broke through in just a couple of years to become the #1 entertainment channel in India. But the question that I couldn't get out of my head was, then why couldn't I keep it? Why did I have to exit? And I know I don't want to be too harsh on myself. I know there was, such a big decision is never a decision occasioned by one thing. There is obviously a constellation of circumstances. The very constellation which gave you the sort of tailwinds to make it big, similar sort of circumstances also conspired to bring you down. I knew that, in 2008-9, the world had gone into a severe depression. I knew that, some of our regulations were truly outdated, were truly tying up first-generation entrepreneurs in sort of their arms behind their back. Our ability to raise capital was crimped. I knew all those reasons. I knew all those reasons for why one had to make that choice to exit. But yet, I wanted to be tougher on myself and ask myself, did I do everything right? How much have I contributed to this decision? So as I said, next day you have a lot of time. The next week you have a lot of time. You really don't have anywhere to go to. Pretty much sort out your taxes and sort out your what you've earned by selling your shares, and the one thing that you start getting very occupied with is a bunch of wealth advisors reach out and say, no, we can manage this, we can manage that, please invest here. So in the middle of all of that, I said, let me figure out for myself, did I succeed or did I fail? And so I said, okay, I know the successes, let me not worry about the successes. Can I collate my failures? And so I sat with a pen and paper and I said, what was my first failure? And my first failure, I realized, was that possibly I gave away too much of the company too quickly in the early 90s, because one didn't understand how you could leverage your intellectual capital much more than one ended up leveraging. One treated 1 rupee as 1 rupee, while if you have intellectual capital, you should be actually charging a much bigger premium for that. So I realized that was the first big mistake I had made. And then of course, as we grew slowly, at first, I realized that my second mistake was to begin to believe that good times and growth last forever. They don't. But when good times and growth is happening, you always tend to make mistakes of optimism. And those mistakes are, you probably load up too much on the workforce, you start taking on very high fixed costs, you don't variabilize your costs as much as you should. So I realized that was my second mistake, that I thought this growth curve will continue forever, and therefore you can build a large workforce to feed it. But when the business cycle turns down, and it inevitably does, whoever tells you it doesn't is telling you a complete untruth. It inevitably turns down. And then you are left holding the can, and then you have to go through painful things like lay off people, and which is it's an extremely unhappy experience in life to have to do that. So I realized that was my second mistake, that one became too optimistic too quickly and then loaded on the company with fixed costs when actually you should be keeping a very high component of variable and flexible costs. The third mistake that I recall jotting down is that when we entered into a few joint ventures. And one of the first ones we entered into was with two of the largest corporations in the world, while we were a tiny, less than $1 million turnover company. And I was completely at sea. I'm talking about mid-90s now. Because there were these two large corporations, one very large Indian corporation, one very large global corporation. And they had these battery of lawyers who had come in to negotiate the joint venture. And here I was myself. When the first time you deal with a legal document, you don't understand the nuance of words, because it's all wordplay, right? I mean, all of the rights are captured in wordplay, in semantics, and you never understand what's written in between those lines. And I realized that was a third big mistake I made. I signed a horrible first joint venture agreement because I didn't have the wherewithal, the capacity, or even the understanding, the capital to match their legal prowess. So these were the two or three I listed down, and then I said, then what happened? And then I realized that, we got lucky. We got very lucky because in 1999, 2000, this whole technology boom that happened in the world, valuations went through the roof. For some odd reason, media companies were then being categorized as technology companies. I don't know and I don't care, and I'm very happy they were. Because the valuations that media companies got were very similar to the valuations of technology companies. So we did a very quick IPO, we got a lot of capital, and I realized that good luck also exists in this world. And that's I'm going to link that a bit to failure, that again, when good luck happens, you must nurture, nourish, preserve it. You should not let it go, because if you start trifling with good luck and start taking it for granted, it goes away like all good things will go away. So we got capital, but for the very first time in our life, I think for 4 or 5 years, we were very, very steady in our growth. We did not overinvest. We built CNBC TV 18. That was the one TV channel we had at that point in time. We built it slowly, very steadily, took 3 or 4 years, literally preserving that 50 crores of IPO money that we had got, feeling very happy every morning, getting up and saying, it's all there, it's all right in the bank. But grew largely through cash accruals and cash flows. And then, in 2005, 2006, if I was to write down my biggest failure, then I would say what happened in that 2005, 6, 7 period was an extremely huge failure, and I wasn't the only one. If you remember, those were complete go-go years. We all thought that, wow, India has arrived, 90% growth rate, we are the next China, stock markets were going through the roof, capital was so easily available, companies like Lehman were actually pursuing you to say, all right, can we give you a $50 million line of credit, all that subprime stuff was happening behind me. But it was so easy to raise capital, it was so easy to grow, and a lot of people made a lot of mistakes, including myself, in that phase of 2005-07. We just exploded in growth. I mean, we launched CNN we launched CNBC Awards, we acquired IBM 7, we launched HomeShop 18, we expanded money control.com. We just went a bit nuts because money was so easily available. So, by 2008, We had a clutch of very successful brands, including, and then the final one that we launched before we got hit by reality was Colors. And Colors was an exceptional success. I mean, here we were, Johnny come latelys from nowhere, and suddenly we were the #1 game in town. Star Plus was #2, Z was #3, and everyone was sort of, raising a toast to us. And if you looked at our balance sheet, we wouldn't raise any toast to us. We were losing 2 crore rupees a day in that year, 2008. But you sort of rationalize everything yourself. That's a big mistake. Avoid it. Just always look at reality straight in the eye and accept it. But you can always rationalize. We all do. All of us rationalize. And I said, well, this is not a 2 crore rupee loss. This is a 2 crore rupee investment. We are building such brilliant brands, and one day it'll all turn and it'll all be good. But as 2008 happened, we realized that it was becoming impossible to raise equity. And we had to somehow sustain this 2 crore rupee burn because 2 crore rupees per day burn because the brands were doing very well. So there was no other way out but to go deeper and deeper and deeper into debt, which is what I did. And our balance sheet became very precarious. And then there was another failure that I now in retrospect have learned so much from, but did not understand it then. In 2011, after we had survived for 3 years, begged, borrowed, steal, literally gone into huge debt to keep the operations running. In 2011, if you remember, the markets turned again after 2008's fiasco and disaster. Markets turned again. So there was a big bounce in the markets. And we managed to raise equity in 2011. And then I think I made my fatal mistake. Then I think was my biggest failure. Because after having come through such a deep valley of death, of near death, when the Almighty or whoever runs the New York Stock Exchange or whoever runs the markets had thrown a lifeline, said, come, markets are good again, pick up capital and save yourself. So we picked up a lot of capital, but we didn't save ourselves. Because, the hubris of human beings is something that you have to be very, very wary about. I mean, you have to be brutally frank with yourself, and then you'll realize where you're doing the right thing and where you're doing the wrong thing. We picked up a lot of money and we said, wow, let's expand again. So instead of deleveraging the balance sheet, we expanded again. And I think that was the kiss of death. I don't think you get a third chance in life. I think second chances do come, but third chances don't. And then one thing led to another and I had to exit. So that was the story of 25 years of my life. And here I was, sort of doodling away, trying to capture it on a piece of paper and figure out, was it successful, was I successful, or was I a failure? But I'm leaving that question unresolved. And I think none of us in life can resolve that question because neither success nor failure is black and white. It never is. It's suffused with improbabilities, with grays, with if I had done this, that would have happened. Gosh, it came so near. What a near miss. So, it's a series of near misses. It's a series of ifs. It's a series of what ifs. So it's never try and answer this question for yourself. Did I fail or did I succeed? Because in some part you would always have done one or the other. But the critical thing is to learn from that failure. Believe me, what you learn from failures, you will never ever learn from successes, because it's very easy to be in a feel-good moment of life. But when the chips are down, when you have to confront failure, when you have to live through adversity, that is when we are tested as human beings. Frankly, that's the only time we are really tested as human beings. And frankly, that's the only time that I believe the true test of leadership is thrown at us. How do we handle adversity? Do we crack up? Do we maintain our balance? Do we maintain our objectivity? Because I think that's the most critical thing in adversity. Do you maintain your objectivity? Do you have the ability to clinically look at the situation, accept where things have gone wrong, and then go around fixing them? Because that's the first acceptance and a clinical sort of assessment of why things went wrong is the first step required to actually go out and be able to solve them. So how you deal with adversity, how resilient you are, how you learn from your failures, I believe is at the core, is at the absolute core of how you develop as leaders and how you develop as professionals in your field, and how you go on to succeed or you go on to struggle. I think that is absolutely at the core. So there are a few lessons that I carried with me, and I want to share some of them with you as I started my second innings as we launched the Quint and Bloomberg Quint. I made a resolve with myself that I should be cursed if I make those mistakes all over again, the ones that I made in the earlier stint. And therefore some of the lessons that I think I'll quickly share with you. You've always heard as leaders that you must trust and you must empower a team. It's very important. And I completely and totally agree that you must trust and you must empower. But there is a collateral side to it. You must also not neglect your powers of verification and control. Do not trust blindly, because then sometimes when mistakes happen, you are left with no alternative but to do much more drastic work. So very important for you to trust and to empower, but also equally important for you to ensure that that trust and empowerment is A, being reciprocated, and B, is being exercised in good faith, and that the person whom you have empowered and you are trusting is actually accountable as well. I think Ronald Reagan said it, right? I think he said it for the Russians when they were having their nuclear weapons treaty. He says, I totally trust the Russians, but I will verify. So I think he sort of captured it very succinctly. It's extremely important to do that. The other thing, and this applies culturally much more to us as Indians, we sort of tend to shy away from a conflict. There's something in our cultural sort of DNA that we prefer if some storm passes away. We prefer कि चलने दो, हो जाएगा ठीक. Let's not enter into a conflict. But I don't think as leaders we can afford to do that, because ability to confront something which is in front of your eyes going wrong, you simply have to have that. So you as leaders, if you shy away from conflict, please believe me, your quotient of failures is going to go higher than otherwise. So we should not run away or shy away from conflict. If something wrong is happening in front of your eyes, you must confront it. Now, how you confront it is very important. If you see that one of your senior colleagues is not playing up to potential, or is doing something that is somewhat suspect, as I said, you have to confront that reality. But remember, and this is a rule of thumb that I've gathered from my organization, building whatever I've indulged in. Some of us try and pull up a person or scold a person, or if scold is a wrong word, if we sort of pull him up or show him some of his defaults. I have learned that at least with senior colleagues, never do it in the presence of others. Never do it in public. What you are doing is confronting a colleague with something which is problematic. You are not trying to show him down. It's not an insult you are heaping on him. Quite the opposite of an insult. But if you were to do it in the middle of a bunch of peers, then it starts becoming closer to an insult. So I think that lesson is very important. Give bad news one-on-one, but give good news and celebrate all of it together. I have a lot more lessons that I could share, but I think the core lesson is that your failures are your most important teachers. Learn to confront them, accept them, understand them, deconstruct them, and then learn from them as you go on to do other things. I'm happy to take a few questions if you have something that you'd like to ask me on what I've spoken about. Yes?
So, very nicely said by you. However, there are situations, it's like error is human, right? Human beings commit error.
So how do you handle situations where there's a team member who has committed some mistake, but he prefers living in a denial mode, and because there are colleagues, there are peers who often portray this behavior. How do you handle such situations where someone's like, okay, he prefers to live in a denial mode?
All right, I think that's a very real question, because I think we sort of confront that every day, right, in a working situation. Two things to that. What is the kind of error we are looking at? One is an error which is largely an error of negligence. It's largely is an error where you know the guy has not done it right, and perhaps he's been either lazy or negligent, or he just wasn't good enough, or he just didn't have the focus. Now that's an error where I think you cannot afford to feel good about it. I think you have to tell it to him the way it is. There has to be a little punitive element in your interaction with him, whatever be the company policy within that. But you have to read it, the riot act out to the person and say, listen, in this situation, you messed up. I mean, there's another, I'm sure in a closed door you use more colorful language, but you messed it up. But there is another error. There is another error, and you've got to be, as leaders of a group of people, you need to be very careful which error you are looking at. The other error is an error of effort, aspiration, good intention, but it could have been an idea ahead of its time. You didn't resource it properly. It could just be plain bad luck. I mean, that also happens, right? So I think it's very important for you as leaders to assess the error. If the error is of the latter kind, if the error is an error of aspiration, honest intention, trying to do something extra, didn't work out, that error needs to be celebrated. Even if the person is in denial, you've got to make him or her understand that, listen, you failed, you tried something which was unusual, we've come away from it learning something. Let's now assess how to make it successful the next time around. So I think depending on what your assessment of that error is it a bona fide error of aspiration or is it negligence? You will then have to act accordingly.
So we were really hopeful that we would have more time for interaction, but unfortunately we've run out of time, sir. So with your permission, we'd like to close the open forum and of course express our tremendous gratitude to you for talking to us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.